Yeah.
So
And
that's my take.
yeah, and now you mentioned a little bit about how you probably uh, these things can lead to potential offers and interviews at
Yeah.
least, right? Now, talking about your time there, your experience, you told me that the program, the engineering management program at Northeastern, they kind of have these two or three tracks that you can specialize in. Correct? One was the
Hmm.
data track, one was supply chain,
Supply chain, yeah.
and the product
Product, yeah.
management, yeah, product
Product management.
track. And you told me that data and supply chain were the most popular tracks, and
Commonly, yeah.
yeah, and product was not as common. So, um, and you chose product obviously. So, was that? Did
Yeah.
you ever feel that this was a disadvantage for you?
Oh, yes. Uh, so another thing about Northeastern is you have many people, right? And when you have many Indian friends or American friends into largely two sets that are data and product, data and supply. What
Mhm.
happens is there are two co-op cycles. One is the January cycle, so December, January, or January, mid January, and the another cycle is August cycle, August or September cycle. So yes, it creeps up. There are far more opportunities in data because data scientists, data migration, data management, like whole pool of data thing. Then same goes for supply chain, operations, supply chain analyst, this, that. They have lots and lots of opportunities, to be very honest. But if the product thing, they don't have, because firstly, the product thing, they don't want any new person, like other than you get an experience. But
Mhm.
if you don't have an experience, they don't hire you, and it's a whole cycle thing.
Okay.
So until unless you have an experience, they don't hire you, and to get an experience, you need
Scary.
to, yeah. So there are very rare chances. So like imagine they getting 20 to 30 listings of in potential internships or not. You just get five,
Oh, wow.
correct?
That's a
So
big difference.
that's a very big difference, right?
Right. So, once you figure out that this is, you have this handicap or disadvantage of the product management track, was there something that you did differently or something that you realized, something that helped you figure out what to do in order to get better opportunities or, at least find interviews?
Fundamentally speaking, there was nothing different that I was doing
Okay.
in terms of any product guy or supply guy does. Apart from that, as I was not getting a co-op, we have a co-op mentor,
Okay.
correct, in Northeastern. So every 50 or 60 students share a mentor,
Oh,
and she or he usually tries to work out with you and like make sure your resume is perfect or like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
And sometimes she has better relations with a company, and like they exactly try getting you hired. That's the whole purpose of it.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
So even she tried it, right? And uh, sh- so what exactly the steps I followed was, you go to LinkedIn, you look for product or things, you reach out to, you apply it, you change the action verb, you change or you
Yeah, yeah.
adjust your correct, yeah, that's the whole thing you do. After that, there are two more steps I used to do. I used to go to that company, people understand, get their email address, send it via my mail, and I used to make sure that I turn on the mail track so I know that they are reading it.
Yes.
Uh, yes, and after that, every week I used to like follow up. First follow up
Exactly.
was 3 days after. So I usually try and apply on Tuesdays because Monday they are booked with lots of work. So I never applied on Monday, because if you apply on Monday, you're screwed. So I applied on Tuesday, and I took follow up by Thursday or Friday
Mhm,
before they
mhm,
go weekend, right? And after, and so these were the things I do, but none of that thing clicked, to be very honest,
mhm. Okay.
right? So that was so alarming for me, my mentor. Like, what is right not happening with you? I was like, you see my resume. Like, I for an internship, I roughly had around 300 resumes. There's a whole Google Doc
Wow.
thing. That's where you like change your career objective, you change your tools, you change your skills, you change your job description, roles and responsibilities, just to align
All of
yourself,
it. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
At a given point, I had 300 resumes, and she went through the whole. Like, she didn't believe it, to be very honest.
Okay.
That why, like, and there was a point where I practically decided that okay, product is not happening.
Okay.
Co-op. Okay, let's switch to project, because I already was a project manager 3 years, right? So that was a huge hit. And once I changed to project, I got interviews.
Interesting.
Yeah, like the very next week, I had 3 rounds, three interviews, 2 rounds a week, something like that. Uh, but like then there were two companies that were interested for me in project. One was Shark Ninja. It's
Mm-hmm.
a, what do you call this? It's a consumer specific kitchen and cleaning robots, and
Okay, okay,
it's like
okay.
kitchen blenders, and that's what Shark Ninja. It's a good household name. Second was there's a train company called in Boston called as Commuter Trains. So they were extending their projects, and they were extending their lines. So they needed someone to, as a project coordinator and as a manager who maintains and helps them with resource planning and scheduling. So I had these two offers, uh, but then again the whole thing boiled down to uh, what exactly you did. Correct? Like, uh, you took off, like you quit a job, you prepared for GRE, you did what do you call this, masters, and then again you doing the same thing,
So all
right?
of that, and then you're
All
back
of
to
Yes, exactly.
correct. Yeah,
So I got this opportunity in summer, and I decided like I'm not doing it.
yeah. Hmm.
Everyone at my home, they were mad.
Shocked.
Everyone at the place where I was staying, they were like, "You full of crap." And like my mentor, she uh, she uh, she arranged an urgent meeting with her supervisor, that
Okay.
like, what is wrong with this guy? Like,
So
because I was not getting I was not getting any information, any interviews from like mid Feb till like late of April,
okay.
correct? And in the second week of May, I had two offers.
Hmm.
Both of them were good pay, like somewhere around $25 or $27, somewhere around that. Good pay to be. I was happy with that. They are not as far as the data thing. They earn
Yeah,
roughly
yeah.
around
We'll
45
we'll
to
talk about
50.
that also in a bit.
Yeah. Uh, but good pay. And I was not happy with. Like, personally speaking, I was not happy with it, because like all my efforts would come down to zero.
Yes.
That's how I saw it, right?
Right, right.
For other people, it was like majorly like, this is just like a milestone or a stepping stone. You can move, you can move
You're
around.
getting
Yeah,
something, take it.
yeah, just getting something, take it. And I was like, no, I didn't do this for just to take it. And there are two co-op cycles, right? So other than that, then there was an extension in January. So I was like, I'll pretty much nail this one.
Okay.
That's how I was for that. uh Also, I this remote thing came in 2020.
Hmm.
Back in 2019, there was nothing like remote. Okay, so if you have to get a job, or if you find a job in some places, you have to practically move it. Being an intern or being on co-op, no one gives you relocation money, or like very
Right.
less company gives you relocation money.
Yes, yes.
So okay, so yeah, sorry. So I changed it to that, and I was very sure that I am not taking this job, but I will definitely get something in January, and I will do it for 8 months straight. I'll find such a thing.
Right.
I was very definite on that, and they were all like, "Okay, fine." Like, uh, my my mentor's manager, was like, okay, whatever you want to do, we are there for you, like that. They were not what you call as,
Very
they
good.
were not
That's like
happy
they
with
were
my resume.
supportive. They were not
Yeah,
happy,
they were
but they were still
supportive.
supportive.
They were supportive. Yeah, exactly. I think when you be in an academic institution, you are not allowed to say, no, we can't do we can't do this for you because you pay fees. It's a capitalist economy. But yeah, uh, so they were pretty much, yeah, we are there for you if you need some help, guidance, and other things. I was like, okay. After that, that's when things changed. Started interacting more with professors, because again, these professors are someone who has worked as a consultant to different, what you call as,
Mhm.
companies, or
Mhm.
be an advisor there. And I took a very interesting course after that. That was iterative product prototyping.
Mhm.
Correct. And what changed was they helped me understand more matterly in terms of what exactly goes into a product management interview. Correct.
Oh,
Yeah. So,
because of that
like,
class. From that class,
yes,
they
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So
interesting.
this class, they didn't have any assignments. It was all group work, and we have to come up with every product every week, every product in different terms. So this last week, it might be health. This week, it would be AR, VR, or maybe gaming or something like that. So you just have to come up, you have to find a name, you have to find a product tagline, you have to find a design that works, you have to like make a Photoshop a web page of it. And so like it got me very busy, and like that thinking started exactly how it should have started, but it didn't start for the
Hmm.
first 6 months, but it started sometime in May, like August, in the fall semester. So that course pretty much helped a lot in terms of
Mhm.
and after that, I still did the same resumes, like, to be very honest, I didn't change much the product and thing, but somewhere down the line my resume was now picked up.
Hmm.
Correct. Maybe the wordings were more nuanced, or they were more on the
Maybe.
product aligned side. Maybe the sentences made more sense to the product guys or the interviews. Yeah,
Were
that's
these
like,
any of the same companies that you applied to earlier, or were these newer companies?
no, I think majorly they were newer companies.
Okay.
The same companies, I think. So I like to be very honest. If you get into a company, usually the guy who gets into the company refers the next guy.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
To be very honest, these things work here too.
Of course,
Contacts
that is,
work here too.
yeah, that is a major thing. Like, if you know somebody
Yeah.
at a
So
company, if they refer you, your chances of at least getting noticed are much higher.
you directly get an interview easily.
Correct, correct.
Correct.
And in some
So
cases, the person who refers you, if you are hired, also
hmm.
gets a small bonus or something like that.
Yeah,
In
no,
some
that is
some
true.
companies,
But
yeah.
sometimes it is like they say that in America it's more like a metric, uh, right? But no, if that guy has made an
Yeah,
impression of him working and if he
correct.
refers you, it's everything on impressions, right? Uh, so that I applied to some companies in from my past, but though that didn't work. Then interesting thing happened was I got a call from the salt systems. So there were two locations. One was right in Boston, and one was in Rhode Island.
Mm,
So I interviewed for Boston position,
mm.
and they kept me waiting from October till December.
Okay, wow.
Right,
Lot
uh,
of waiting.
lot of waiting. They took 3 rounds, lot of and I constantly followed up. I didn't get anything, and like it's January, and on your 15th of January, your co-op cycle closes.
Yeah.
Uh, Somewhere in the first week of January, I get a call from a Rhode Island office in the salt system that if I'm interested in a position that has opened up, and I was like, I haven't applied to your place. I applied for a Boston place.
Hmm.
And she said that the manager wants you here in Rhode Island.
Okay.
And I was like, okay. And she said that you there would be an interview because this is a different manager and you have to be coming to Rhode Island and this and that. And I was like, okay. I went to Rhode Island. I confirmed my availability. The first thing my manager said was, I didn't expect you to be on Rhode Island because the last three guys who were from my same school, I think they were my potential batchmates. They didn't show up for an interview. They took a remote interview.
Oh,
So maybe that clicked. So I
you showed
because you
up
asked
in
me,
there in Rhode Island
I
physically.
showed up. Yes, I showed up
Yes.
to 2 hours.
Interesting.
Yeah, car rental and other things. I showed up there with a proper professional, what do you call this, uh, things because uh, like this was my last hope. Other than that, and I was like, let's just give it a shot. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah. And
Yeah.
from my
Amazing.
consultant, yeah, from my consultant group, I only learned one thing was whenever you go to an interview, wear a suit and stay as sharp in terms of your looks
Your
and
appearance. Yeah.
your appearance, shave or something like that. Just stay sharp like that and like try looking sleek and go for a firm handshakes. And like these are the things that
Yeah.
you
These are all
when you
like
talk
body
to them,
language things that make
body
a lot of
language thing,
difference.
right? Yeah,
Yes.
and try and they give you three C's: calm, composed, and compelled, kind of. So
Okay.
whenever someone asks you a question, you don't have to answer it. Just take a 5 second pause,
Yeah.
gather all your thoughts, answer it. Right? You don't.
I don't know. All of
Yeah,
that.
there
Yeah.
is no there is no It's okay.
Yeah.
Like if you don't feel like answering, just take a pause like that. So these are the things that I practice, and I was like, okay, fine, like let's do this.
Hmm.
And this was the first thing we had, and that interview was scheduled for 45 minutes. We roughly talked for 3 hours. Yeah, we roughly talked for 3 hours. He explained me how this is going. There was a whole whiteboard. He filled it up. So yeah, I was lucky, and after that,
So yeah,
it cooked.
it seems like
Yeah,
that interview was. I mean, more or less, they probably had already chosen you, and it was like
uh,
explaining what your job would be
yes, exactly.
like
So
a
mid
mini
interview, yeah,
orientation.
yes, mid interview. I thought like, has this guy even like uh chosen me because we are not talking about money, we are not talking about your time, we are not talking about your schedule, we are not talking about your onboarding, or we are not talking about any different things around that needs to be talked to. But
Hmm.
these guys like, just explain me is like what are the things that he would be giving on me on the first day of on my plate. And I was like, it's happening too fast, correct? Because for 7 8 months you had nothing. This interview you nail it on the first round and click, and things worked.
Perfect.
Yeah, so
Okay. So the co-op at Northeastern is,
mm,
one of their USPs, of course, and it's also probably
yes,
one of the pioneering co-ops in North America for that
on
matter.
not
Because
yeah,
yeah, because a lot of Canadian universities also have this co-op thing now, at least.
yes.
So how was that? What was your experience like? Was it like uh, it's almost like you're working a normal job, but it's in between your program, and then you
Program,
have to
join
end
again.
after. Yeah, you have to
Yeah,
join again,
yeah,
and then graduate. And so for you, I'm sure you must have hope that this co-op would lead to a
converted.
full-time job afterwards,
Yes,
right? It convert.
yes, yes.
So what was were there any issues there?
Exactly. So things were pretty much good till March, and with the COVID coming into picture, and I think that was also fine because we got a chance to explore the remote work.
Hmm.
Uh, Earlier, I had to commute 2 hours. So now I was just like working from just 8 to 5. right? So that was pretty much good. What happened was in quarter three, when there were some constraints about money and like every problems that were sort of started creeping in. There were hiring
Mm.
freezes, and
Mm.
that's when the whole freezing hire freeze started,
Okay.
right? And apart from that,
So
uh,
this was all because of COVID.
majorly because of COVID, my manager was quite optimistic with me,
Mm-hmm.
but things didn't go as per the plan with the hiring freeze, and yeah, but later on,
Mm.
I was more happy after that.
All
Yeah,
right,
the
let's
new
let's
job.
let's get to that then. What
Okay,
because then afterwards you must have had to go through that. Oh,
go
you
through the
must have
whole
had to
hiring.
go through that home
Yes,
whole hiring process, applying,
yes, yes, exactly.
searching, and all of that, right?
Yes, yes.
So what worked there in the next, round of your applications?
Okay, okay. So in the next round of application, I had this huge name called as the Salt Systems, right?
Yes,
Though it's not a huge name in North America, but in Europe or
in Europe.
European
Yes,
com,
yes.
yes, in European company it's a huge name. So that was like big tick. Apart from that, I got to talk with more clients. Like Apple and Tesla were my clients, correct?
Okay,
So I got to put those companies or like great adjectives on my resume, and I really enjoyed
certainly.
that. So now my resume was picked more oftenly. I was getting more interviews,
Mm-hmm.
but the only problem was with the COVID thing and the USPS mess up of the delivering. Uh, if you're an international student, you have this employment authorization card, EAD card,
Mm-hmm.
that you get after you graduate. So within 60 days, you should be getting it, or you take a date within 60 days. So my card was delivered sometime in, I think, March. I think around March 18, December 18 or 20th, I graduated.
Okay.
After that, you legally can't work in United States till you get a
Mm-hmm.
perfect particular date.
Mm-hmm.
So I got sometime in March, and so there were some potential offers, but they were all pulled back
Mm-hmm.
because of the delay.
All
A lot of
sorts of
people
mess ups. Whatever can happen, that Murphy's
happened.
law, whatever can go wrong will go wrong. And that
Went
happened
wrong.
in 2020.
Yeah, exactly. Uh, so yeah, that is good. So that helped me with very different things. I got to know lot of different companies, talked with many recruiters, hiring
Mm-hmm.
managers, did
Mm-hmm.
extensive LinkedIn, what you call this, networking. I talked to a recruiter. So what she explained me was, let's say there are 100 candidates.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
from 100 candidates, there is a particular position, and a manager set some criteria that uh, he should have worked this, he should have worked that, he should have that. That are the hiring manager criteria. The
Mm-hmm.
top management sets some criteria that says uh, your salary or what is your acquiring cost, something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
what your recruiter does is it just filters you.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's pretty much thing. So how are you filtered? You filtered on first your expected salary.
Mm-hmm.
Second, you are filtered on your acquisition cost,
Okay.
and third is your location. Right.
Mm.
So
So these are things to, get through that ETS
yeah,
check mainly.
yes, exactly. So you can just take look every company you take or the first company you take is just to stop that clock, the 90-day clock you get after EAD starts, right? And you and after graduating, it's always an urge to like start having money to uh, stable yourself. And if like usually people have loans, so like because
Mm.
that the interest starts, everything starts because after you graduate, every financial burden you cannot think of starts. So that the like you usually try getting first job as soon as possible.
Mm.
right? And after that, you start with second job, and like how do you want to move forward with that? That's pretty much simple thing.
Okay.
So the first job helps you with like getting your house running kind of thing,
Yes.
right?
Makes sense. Of
And this
course.
and the second job is the job where you actually start making money,
Right. So
right?
talking about money, right?
Okay,
If you're comfortable with it,
sure,
um, can you provide, certain ranges from your experiences for
sure.
somebody who has recently graduated a master's in product management or
Product.
product development? Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Surely. So, in my internship, the first offer I got was like $20, 24, $25, and I didn't take that. And in the Dassault systems, I got a offer of $27.
Hmm.
Pretty much good in Boston area. Was quite happy with it. Manageable, doable money you can save. You can definitely save if living as a student thing. Uh, After that, I got an offer from 70 to 100K range
Hmm.
here in Florida.
Hmm.
Quite happy. Can be uh, like started savings and moving on. But this is all like non-coding, very blatantly non-coding, just simple spreadsheet guy who makes sure that the flow and things are
The work is
nicely
getting
done.
done,
The
basically.
work is getting done till utmost thing, and making
Probably,
sure that the development is in like is supervised or has
yeah.
the development is not stopped because there is a information is not correct or the flow is not mentioned or cleared, right? So yeah. But if you add like let's say I would say okay, uh, if you are going into tier one city with a product management, I think your base would be 100K for sure.
Okay.
Correct. I live in
Interesting.
tier two city at present. But
Okay.
if you live in tier one, the base would be 100K for sure. Until after that, there would be some perks of 401K, relocation, housing
Correct.
office, and other things around. Apart from that, let's say you add a Google certification or you add some AWS certification, or that would add around 20 to 30K a year. So
Wow.
120, 130, right? Uh, if you are if you're more on the RT side of it or artsy, you can go for UI UX. That would
Hmm.
really bump up your salary roughly 150 maybe.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so yeah, I think 100K would be the minimum that you can get being a product manager, at
In
least
a
in
tier
tier
one
one,
city. Yeah.
in a tier one city, and roughly in tier two, tier three, there would be very less product management roles for you because like there would not be major tech companies or small tech companies in tier three cities. So
Hmm.
product management role will be less, but in tier two, somewhere around down the line of 50, 70 to 100K
So like a
is kind of
20,
doable.
30%, like a reduction from a tier one to a
Yes,
tier two
yeah.
city.
Yeah, like also largely depends on like every county in America.
Ah.
They have their pay structures.
And of course, this is
So
also highly dependent on the state also that you are in.
yes, exactly. Yeah.